We'll see today how to solve the problem using the dominance principle. So let us consider, so we'll be solving here, solve the problem, solve the game using dominance principle. So we have to solve the given problem using the dominance principle. So you all know now what is the dominance principle here. So it, as per the dominance principle, it says if any row in the given payoff matrix is lesser or equal to the other row, then eliminate that row. For the row, if any row, if it is lesser or equal, eliminate that. Then, if you compare with the column, so whenever you compare the two columns, if any entire column, if the values are greater than or equal, then for that columns you have to greater or equal, then eliminate those greater rows. So this is what we have learnt in the dominance principle. Still the more complex problem also we'll see later. First let us consider the very simple problem, how to solve using the dominance principle. 9, 2, 8, 6, 6, 4. This is the payoff matrix given, so you have to solve using the dominance principle. Now, as I said, you have to compare the rows. So, whenever you compare the rows, if the complete row is lesser or equal, then you can eliminate those rows. If the complete column is greater than or equal, then you can eliminate those rows. So, let's consider this is your row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2. Now, compare row 1 with row 2. Compare row 1 with row 2. Then what are all the possible options? Row 1 with row 2, row 1 with row 3. Compare row 1 and row 3. Then here you have one more option. You can compare row 2 with row 3. So we'll completely compare this, all the row comparisons now. Comparing row 1 with the row 2. What we have to see? Complete row if it is lesser. 9 and 2. So here 8 is less than 9. 6 is not less than 9. So row 1 and row 2 comparisons we cannot eliminate. Compare row 1 with the row 3. Row 1 with the row 3. 9 and 6. 6 is lesser. 2 and 4. 4 is not lesser. So again we cannot eliminate any of the row. Then compare row 2 with row 3. Row 2 with row 3. 8 and 6. 6 is lesser. 6 and 4. 4 is lesser. So complete this row 3 is lesser than row 2. So whichever is lesser than, you eliminate those rows. So we have eliminated this row 3. Now start comparing the column. Column 1 and the column 2. Now this is possible, column 1 and column 2. Column 1 is this, column 2 is this. 2 is compared with the 9. Yes, it is lesser. 6 is compared with 8. 8 is lesser. Whichever is greater, in this case 9 is greater than 2, 8 is greater than 6. So 6. So complete that column has to be eliminated. Now this is also eliminated. What are all the rest of the two values now? We have here values in the row 1 and values in the row 2. You cannot again compare the column because we have only one column. So what you can go for? You can go for again the row comparison. So because we have two rows. So let us compare row 1 and row 2. 1 if you compare with the row 2. Whenever you row comparison, you have to see lesser. So 2 is lesser than 6. Since we have only 2 values, we can easily compare this. 2 is less than 6. Since it is lesser, this value gets ruled out. Now, what is the remaining value? Remaining value here is 6. So, value of the game is equal to 6. Let us solve one more problem. Second one. The payoff matrix is given and the values are -5, 2, 0, 7, 5, 6, 4, 8, 4, 0, 2, -3. So this is the payoff matrix is given. Now you have to use the dominance principle to solve this game and find out the value of the game. So as I said, the dominance principle. When you have to compare the two rows, if any one of the row is completely lesser or equal to the other row, so eliminate that, rule out that lesser row. And whenever you do the column comparisons here, then if any of the value in the entire column, if the values are greater than or equal to the other columns, then rule out those columns. Now, this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3. Now, this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Now, we'll start comparing. So, I'll write here comparing R1 and R2. I will write all the possible combinations. R1 can be compared with R2. R1 can be compared with R3. So R1 can be compared with R3. Then R2 can be compared with R1. It's already done. Then R2 can be compared with R3. R2 can be compared with R3. Now, start comparing R1 with R2, R1 with R2. So here you just see, since it is a row comparison which has a lesser value. R1 and R2, -5 is less than 5, 2 is less than 6, 0 is less than 4, 7 is less than 8. Yes. R1 and R2, here we found that R1 is complete R1 row is less than R2. So complete R1, see -5 is less than 5, 2 is less than 6, 0 is less than 4, 7 is less than 8. Complete R1 row is less than R2, hence this can be ruled out. Okay, then compare R1. So since it is already R1 this is ruled out, now no need to compare this. Okay, then what is the one more option? R2 can be compared with R3. So 4, 5 and 4. 4 is lesser. 0, 0 is lesser. 2, 2 is less than 4. -3, -3 is less than 8. So again this holds good, wherein your R3 is less than R2. Okay, so see, 4 is less than 5, 0 is less than 6, 2 is less than 4, -3 is less than 8. So R3 is less than 2, so eliminate lesser one. So I have eliminated this. Now, still we have values, so we have to find out the value of the game. So start comparing the column comparisons. So how many columns you have here? C1, C2, C3 and C4. So we will start here. C1 will be compared with C2, C1 will be compared with C3, C1 will be compared with C4. So first we'll finish this. 5 will be compared with 6. Yes, 6 is greater here. So only two values here. 6 is greater here. So this greater one will be eliminated. Then, so this holds good wherein C2 value is greater than the C1 value. And then C1 value will be compared with C3. So C1 will be compared with the C3. So which is here the greater? This is greater. So C1 is compared with the greater C3 holds good wherein C1 is greater than C3. So which one I have to rule out? Which has the greater value. So this is also ruled out. Then C1, since it is ruled out, no need to compare. So next, what is remaining here? Remaining is you will be comparing C3 and C4. C3 you will be comparing with the C4. So since it is a column comparison, so which has a greater value? C4. So this holds good wherein C4 is greater than C3. C4 is greater than C3. So this is ruled out. So which is remaining now? 4. Only this is the remaining. So value of the game is equal to value of the game is equal to 4. Is it clear? Let us solve one more problem. Third problem is the payoff matrix is given. So the values are 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 0, 3. Payoff matrix is given. Again you have to solve using the dominance principles. Again the strategies are same. Whenever you have to do the row comparisons, you have to do the column comparisons, and for the row comparison you eliminate the row which has lesser or equal to the other rows. It's just actually we will be seeing which is dominating whenever we compare the two rows. Then column whichever is greater or equal, eliminate those rows. Now start comparing. This is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3. Then column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Now I will write here all the comparisons here. Okay. So first comparing okay, R1 and R2. R1 and R2. Comparing R1 with R3. All possible combinations I will write. R1 with R3. So what is the other comparisons? R2 with R1. R2 with R1, anyhow I am comparing here. R2 with the R3. So comparing R2 with R3. So later we'll write for this column comparisons. Now R1 and R2. R1 and R2. So start comparing. So whenever the row comparisons, whichever is lesser. So row 1 and row 2. 1 is less than 2. 2 is less than 3. 1 is less than 4. 2 is less than 5. So whichever is lesser, completely rule out that row. So I am completely ruling out this row because 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 3, 1 is less than 4, 2 is less than 5. So now here I will say it holds good. Yes, I am able to compare R1 and R2, and here the values of R2 is lesser than R1. Hence I have ruled out this. Then R1 with R3. So compare R1 with R3. 2 is equal to 2. 3 and 1. 1 is lesser than 3. 0 is lesser than 4. 3 is lesser than 5. Yes, I am able to compare this R1 and R3 wherein 2 is equal to 2. It can be equal also. Okay. 1 is less than 3. 0 is less than 4. 3 is less than 5. So, I will write here R3 is lesser than or equal to R1. So, which row I have to eliminate now? Whichever has lesser. So, based on this, I will eliminate this. Now, no need to do R2 and R3 because it is already ruled out. So, no need to compare these two. Now, what is remaining here? You have to start comparing columns. So, start comparing. See, only this row is pending. So, I cannot compare further move to the row comparison because I have only one row. So, I can now go for column comparison because I have here 4 columns. C1, C2, C1 with the C3, C1 with the C4. Okay, C1 I'll start from the C1. C1 I'll compare with the C2. C1 I'll compare with the C3. C1 I'll compare with the C4. Now, C1, 2 is less than. So, whenever I do the column comparison, what I have to see? Greater. C1 and C2. Which is greater here? C2 is greater. Yes, it holds good. Wherein C2 values are greater than C1. So, whichever is greater, I will be eliminating this. Then, C1 I will be comparing with the C3. C1 I am comparing with the C3. Yes, wherein C3 is greater than C1. That is the reason. See, 4 and 2. 4 is greater. So, I am eliminating this. Then, C1 I am comparing with the C4. So, I am able to compare this one. And C1, C4 is greater than C1. So, C4 is greater than C1. So, whichever is greater, I am eliminating it. Now, what is remaining here? The remaining is 2 here. So, value of the game is equal to whichever is remaining 2. I hope it's clear to you. Just make sure first you start with the row comparisons. Whenever you do the row comparison, the entire row should be lesser or equal. Then you rule out those rows. Whenever you do the column comparison, if entire row is greater or equal, then you can eliminate those columns. So, finally, whichever is left over, that value will be considering as a value of the game. So, I hope it's clear to you. Thank you.
Reva University, one association for many great careers.